Casey watched the fat kidnapper dial his father's number again. He heard the phone ring, followed by Dad's voicemail message, then the robot voice saying the mailbox was full. The kidnapper howled with rage, fought the urge to slam his phone into the concrete floor, and instead stabbed aggressively at the hang-up button, fuming. There were 3 of them, all a few years younger than his parents. Casey had nicknamed them Fatso, Beardo, and Scrawny. They were too incompetent to instill fear. He'd seen scarier people on the internet. Besides, he had slowly worked his hands out of their poorly tied ropes. He was just waiting for the right moment. Fatso stormed over to Casey.
"All right, you little twerp. How do we find them?"
Casey stared back calmly.
I gave you their phone numbers.
How about where they work?
Beardo sputtered.
They're gig workers.
Casey explained.
They're driving somewhere.
Scrawny snorted derisively.
So what do you do when you want to see him?
I wait at home until midnight.
Casey deadpanned.
That usually works.
What if there's an emergency?
Beardo seemed incredulous.
I can take care of myself.
Fatso grabbed a battery-powered drill.
"Oh yeah? Try taking care of this."
He approached Casey menacingly, the drill screeching. Casey kicked his shoe off, hitting Fatso squarely in the eye. He hunched over. Catching the tumbling drill, Casey drove it straight into Fatso's eye, then pushed him hard. He fell on Beardo, trapping him. Scrawny drew his firearm and prepared to fire, but Casey had already fetched a knife from Fatso's belt and thrown it expertly at Scrawny's throat. With a gurgle, he went down. Casey leaped on him and waved the knife like a conductor's baton, shredding his flesh. The deluge of blood quickly spread outward. Casey spun around to find Beardo trying to free himself from under Fatso. He froze when he saw Casey approach.
How did you do that?
I've been throwing knives since I was 3. YouTube tutorials.
Casey knelt before Beardo, studying his throat impassively.
How does this not bother you?
Beardo pleaded. With a fluid, expert motion, Casey slashed his neck in several places.
I've been watching people die on the internet since I was 4.
The blood gushed out in multiple streams, pumping like a living fountain. Well, a dying one. Casey smirked. He had always wanted to try that method. He let himself out and walked home. Casey heard someone enter the apartment. Padding out of his bedroom, he found his exhausted mother, smelling like the greasy food she'd delivered tonight. He noticed it was 11:30 p.m.
You're home early.
She yawned heavily.
Hi, sweetie. Dinner is served.
She had a selection of canceled deliveries. Mom smiled sadly as she served orange chicken.
I'm sorry I'm not here for you.
He nibbled an extra spicy buffalo wing.
It's okay. I can take care of myself.
How was your day? Anything interesting happen?
He took a big bite from a jalapeno popper.
Nothing worth mentioning.